So you want to start a no-dig garden and you're here to find out how. We turn this into this without tilling and without removing the grass. In my last video, I told you the two major things that you're going to need, cardboard and compost. Now I'm going to give you the best explanation I can with the pictures that I have from when we did it. First, measure the area in which you want to put your garden in. Then plan out your beds. I like to use growveg.com to make it easy. You don't have to plan what's going in them yet, just the layout. The first thing we did was to lay out our garden using this weed blocker that's linked to my bio. However, this step is not necessary. It was just important for me to see it to make sure I didn't want to make it any bigger or any smaller. The third big thing that we needed was wood chips. We used it on top of the cardboard on the walkways to keep the weeds from coming up and getting into the beds. It also looks really pretty. We were able to get Arbor wood chips from our town for free. Now I'll tell you that I was new to the area and finding a lot of compost was not easy for me. So we started with what we had easy access to, which was cardboard and wood chips. And because you can't just lay the cardboard down and walk away, because it'll blow away, we had to do it piece by piece. Cardboard, wet it, wood chips. This is what it looked like when the walkways were all done. Under those wood chips is cardboard. Make sure there is no gaps in your cardboard, there is no holes in your cardboard because the grass will find any way to come through. And then we noticed the weed blocker just wasn't doing it to kill the grass, so we pulled up all the bed areas and covered them with wet cardboard and then put the black weed blocker back on it until we could get the compost and the beds made. Make sure to put the weed blocker back on so the cardboard doesn't dry up and blow away. And we finally got compost. Now you're also going to need vermiculite and peat moss. By the way, this was the grass just 1 week after we put down the cardboard with the weed blocker on top. Building sides for your beds are not necessary. However, our garden is located on the side of our house and visible from the front of our house, so we want to make it look pretty. Plus, it does a good job of keeping the compost in and defining our walkway. So as you go to fill your beds, make sure to check all of your cardboard and that there's no gaps or spaces. The best thing to use is 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 vermiculite. We do have 2 beds that are 12 inches deep for carrots and strawberries. To keep our soil warm, we put the weed blocker back on top, and just 3 weeks later, we started planting. Later on, I'll tell you how we did an inexpensive temporary fence. And this is the man we learned it all from, Charles Dowding, and he can be found on YouTube. It's worth noting that all of our edge beds do not have sides, and in some aspects, those beds actually did better. So like and follow for more updates and put any questions you have in the comments. I'm happy to help.